From the BBR studios, this is Line Locked, where we talk about everything racing and a little bit more. I am your co-host, Chris, with my partner,
Corey, and I'm here.
Hey, are you here?
I'm here. Are you here?
I think that's how we started the last one off.
Yeah. Well, this is episode 3. So
This is episode 3, and let me tell you, it's a little cold in here. I'm not sure.
Touch nipply.
Yeah, it's gotten down to like 30 degrees over the past couple of days. We're starting to warm up, but in this shop here, it is a little bit chilly.
Yeah. We could run the heater, but you guys wouldn't like it.
Yeah.
It's a little loud. It's a little loud. So I hope you guys are having a wonderful, well, this is on Sunday, but hopefully a wonderful week.
Yeah. Did you go to church?
Yeah, just got back.
Just got back from church. Did you eat some donuts and some crackers and some wine?
I got Church of Waffle House.
Waffle House Church, yeah. What'd you have at Waffle House?
Fiesta omelet.
Fiesta omelet. Yeah. You don't go for the waffle?
No, I like the Fiesta omelet, and then I get a hash browns peppered.
Peppered hash browns?
Mm-hmm. So it's not pepper. That's what they call jalapenos.
Huh.
So you pepper it.
I remember when I was a kid, me and my dad, we went to Waffle House one time, traveling across the United States, and there was a roach in our hash browns.
What?
Yeah.
Well, that's just added flavor.
That was added flavor, yeah.
They didn't even charge you extra, did they?
No, but they gave him his meal for free, but didn't give me my meal for free.
Really?
Yeah, it was weird. I was like, hey, man, this is a team effort here, man.
Yeah, crazy.
Hey, so what's going on in the news in the racing world?
Well, first we got one thing on my heads up at the very beginning. Right. Anybody that emails us at linelockpodcast@gmail.com and give us an address, we are going to send you, I'm going to probably blow it up on the screen, we will send you a nice little Christmas ornament.
Yeah.
So it's got a little Santa race car guy and Blood Brothers Racing on there. So make sure you email us or comment down below if you're on the YouTube channel. But you still have to message us on Facebook in order to get an address.
And for those of you that are actually just listening on the podcast and don't see the visuals, it's a really nice square Christmas ornament type deal.
It's like a dash plaque, and we'll have some where you just stick it on something, but we'll also have a hole in a little string. You could hang it from your Christmas tree.
Yeah, so it's real nice. You can go to bloodbrothersracing.com, and you will put a picture of it on there for you.
Yep, or Line Locked.
Yeah, or Line Locked. Yeah, that's it.
Nonetheless, you know where to find us, hopefully, by now. It's episode 3, guys. Get with the program. All right, so in the news, a former Cup champion racer, Kevin Harvick, he retires after 23 years at the wheel. That's a long time.
Oh, yeah. I remember when he first came on, he was replacing Dale Earnhardt
Sr.
Yeah, after he
it was
passed.
A rush job, too, because he was supposed to be mentored by Dale Earnhardt Sr., and then when he had passed, they had to just throw him in the car.
Yeah.
So he has 60 victories over those 23 seasons, which puts him in number 10 of all race car NASCAR drivers. That's a pretty big deal.
And I will tell you from my experience, I used to watch NASCAR all the time. And, nowadays I don't really watch it as much just because it's not as exciting as the old days when you had like Bill Elliott, Dale Earnhardt, and I was really rooting for Junior throughout his career. And, he didn't do excellent, but, man, he's a great racer and a great what's the term? Spokesman for? I was going to say spokesmodel.
I would put him to akin to us in drag racing.
Yes. You almost had it. You almost had it.
No, he's all of it's pretty cool, but it's interesting that 23 years. I think he wanted to spend some time with his family. Also, he's going to be rolling into the announcer booth from next season.
That'd be good.
He'll be part of the broadcasting team.
Yeah,
which is cool. Again, if you wanted to read the article that I'm reading this from, I'll have it linked in the show notes below.
There we go.
Next order of business is the drifting legend Chelsea DeNofo, which is in, I don't know if you guys watch drifting, but I think it's pretty cool. He runs in the Formula Drift League, and he decided to retire as well. So this is like a retirement.
So it's a guy?
It is, it is a guy.
It's a guy named Chelsea?
Yeah.
Oh, neat.
Like a boy named Sue.
Oh, wow. Or it's Pat.
Yeah. Yeah, fair. Anyway, Chelsea has an impressive 9 wins out of the 10 finals appearances, which is 90% of the time he makes it to the finals, he's winning, which is pretty cool. He has a total of 56 rounds of competition and 17 podiums out of those 56 rounds. So that's 9 wins, 1 second, and 7 thirds.
So how do you win in drifting? I'm curious. I know nothing about it.
Yeah, I've watched it, and 100% don't. You can't. Fake news. Here, I'm going to put it on there. For the most part, it's a judged event that you have to, your first lap when you're racing somebody, you go 2 times. The first one you're leading and the guy has to chase you. The second one you're chasing and the other guy's leading you.
Okay.
And it's the tighter you keep the cars together, drifting in the higher angles and the most smoke. So there's a lot. It's a judgment. It's almost like a pageantry.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, but it's cool. So there's all kinds of different power adders to it. A lot of guys use nitrous. A lot of guys use turbos. It's some naturally aspirated. It's an interesting thing. Everybody's got to deal with their bullshit though, because that's a lot of tires to replace.
Yeah, I was going to say
they probably go through a few of those in an event. So it's pretty wild. I find it interesting. Not that it's my favorite thing to watch, but it's pretty cool. And Chelsea Donofo is one of the biggest stars of the whole entire league, and for him to retire is a pretty big deal. So good for him. I think he wanted to do something a little different. Is all
I might have to tune in to one of those because that's kind of interesting.
Yeah. It's next year. We'll highlight it for sure.
Yeah, cool. Well, good for him, man.
Yep.
Congratulations, Chelsea. There you go.
And tech tip: if you're cold, they're cold. Put your race cars inside for the winter. Okay.
Oh well, that should be a given.
Yeah, you need to. If you haven't done it already, you need to winterize those race cars. So what we have to do is basically just drain the water, or we use alcohol-based water, but it still doesn't freeze protect. So we got to drain all that.
Yeah.
And we take all our valve springs off, or rockers, to loosen the valve springs up over the winter, because you don't want one to get a little worn out just because it's sitting in the open position for the entire winter.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to do. And this is your reminder to do it too.
Yeah.
What do you think?
You
got anything to add to that?
I've always
also parachutes. Make sure you pull your parachutes.
Yeah, definitely pull your parachutes and get those. Don't you have to put some kind of like
baby powder?
Baby powder in there, to make sure they don't.
But pull your chutes to keep that spring from relaxing, and maybe get you a few more years out of it if you pull your chute.
Yeah.
Anything else? Battery tender. Got to put that battery tender on there, or at least get the battery unconnected. But I'd put a tender on it. Just one of those cheap $40 tenders you can get from Amazon, and then put a car cover on it. It's going to be cold out there,
especially if you got cats in your garage.
I got lots of cats in this barn. I'm surprised you hadn't seen them in the podcast yet, or maybe heard them. We go through cats quite often out here. We live on a farm, and whenever they knock down the hay or the cornfields, we get mice. So we have to have barn cats.
Yeah,
and we cycle through them.
I was getting ready to say
we cycle through them
quite a few.
So in the summertime, they hang out outside and inside, so they got a place to go, whatever. But some of them are dumb enough to go hang out in the road, and play Frogger. And me and Chris got to witness one lose at Frogger this year, and it was pretty sad.
We had hope for it for about a split second. It's like, it might be okay. No, they're not okay.
No, definitely not okay. So we keep 2 out here all the time, and when one plays Froggers and loses, we go to the shelter and get us another one.
Yeah.
So it's a catch and release program. It usually takes them a little bit of time to warm up to us, but this last one, man, we didn't get it from the shelter. We got it from my wife's parents live in another area in a farming community, and this cat was just roaming outside as a long-haired cat. And it was all matted up. It was so bad that we had to shave half of it. It's kind of got like a lion's cut right now, just trying to get the matting out of its hair. We don't normally keep long-haired cats out here, and if we had a preference, we'd get a short-haired cat. But this one just kind of came to us. So.
I feel like there should be some background music in the arms.
Yeah. ASPCA or whatever. Sarah McLachlan.
Yeah, but hey, just as a friendly reminder, have your cat spayed or neutered, because
all right, Bob Barker,
way too many of them out there.
All right, so we're gonna move on. This episode, you guys get the luxury of meeting my wife.
Yeah,
and we're gonna talk with her about what is it like to have to deal with my bullshit, for one, but in racers in general. A lot of us don't even think about what it feels like to be a wife of a guy that leaves for many days on a time, and also in the shop many days or nights at a time. So we're going to talk with her.
Yep. So she's going to call in here.
Yeah. Let's see here. Ring, 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 ring. And we're bringing her up. How you doing there, Debbie?
Hello. Can you hear me okay?
Yep. We can hear you just fine. Can you hear us?
Yes, I'm tuning in from the kids' room.
From the kiddos. So we just wanted to have you on and get your perspective as a racer's wife. How do you? What kind of challenges do you face with all the amount of time and effort that goes into something like this?
Well, I mean, for me, I think it might be a little bit different than other racers' wives, being that you are gone 3 days a week as it is for your main job. but the amount of time and effort it takes you guys and,
and money
to work on your cars and money, I've just kind of like let in one ear and out the other.
And it goes in one pocket and out the other as well.
Right, exactly. At this point, it's like, it's going to cost what it costs. I mean, you work and support that habit. So,
and it is a habit.
Like null and void. And yes, I called it a habit.
It's true.
But as far as like being home, you don't really see your drag racer a lot. And I think this is probably for a lot of significant others, because you have male and female drag racers. So they have their significant others. The lack of, are we going to get raw here?
Yeah, absolutely. This is this is the Line Lock podcast. You say what you want to say, baby.
The amount of times, like, I sometimes feel that spouses, children are put on the back burner when it comes to drag racing. I mean,
or racing in general, not just drag racing, but I mean,
or racing in general, right? Yeah. Or any hobby of that nature. I mean, the amount of time and effort you have to put into it to get it ready to race. You're not home often. Well, you're home, but you're outside of the home.
Yeah, I'm out there.
Yeah, and
it's tough.
That kind of sucks. But at the same time, I try to look at it like, who am I to stop somebody from their hobby and what makes them happy? You being inside more would make me happy, but then at the same time, it would turn around and not make you happy. So I feel like there's a line that everybody has to figure out what works for them.
That's absolutely true. I at least in a marriage, and we could go down the Dr. Phil route here, there's a lot of give and take. And if you're not happy or I'm not happy, our relationship's not happy. So, if this gets taken away from me, it's a part of my identity. And I think a lot of these racers that are watching this podcast can relate to that. This is part of who I am, and I can really appreciate it. And part of the reason I married you was you deal with it, and it's a tall ask for a lot of families. So we really appreciate that, or I really appreciate that. I think Chris actually appreciates that too, because you allow him to be out here with me and all that. So it's tough. What do you do for a living, Deb?
I deal with dust collection and air pollution control.
You want to give that a little plug?
No, probably not.
Maybe I went a bridge too far.
No, that's okay. You can just leave it. I mean,
there's a lot of acronyms you can go with that, huh?
But really, really boring if anybody's wondering.
Yeah. So, and then we also have a daughter that does soccer.
Yeah.
So, and that takes up a lot of your time as well.
And that does take up a lot of my time. And equally, I mean, it might not cost as much as drag racing, but it is equally just as expensive, for what you get.
Yeah. I mean, it's all relative.
But typically, like when you're out racing, we're out at games or tournaments or regionals, sectionals. So it does take up a lot of time. And that's where most people don't see me over at the drag side. It's not that I'm not a supportive spouse. It's like, hey, I've got two people that have hobbies and interests that they both love. And unfortunately, the kid's going to trump the husband. Sorry, you guys.
Yeah, it's 100%. As it should be.
Yeah.
As God intended it. All right.
Right.
Well, so when the times that you had made it to the track with us, did you enjoy your time there? Or is it something that you're just not totally, vested in? Like, you could go either way with it.
I could go either way. Drag racing's not my thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really not. But at the same time, I enjoy going because it's what makes you happy. And if it makes you happy, then it makes me happy too. So, I mean, I do like to see certain racers. I mean, St. Patrick, shout out to him. He's one of my favorite. And that might be because I'm friends with one of his friends, so it's more of a personal relationship there.
Right.
But,
and I think part of at least the drag racing side of things is if you're there more and build more relationships with people, that you get more out of it, because our time is limited. Actual racing part of it, we maybe on a finals day you may make 5 laps, and if you're only going 8.5 seconds at a time, that's not much time on the track. So the relationships around drag racing is what makes drag racing fun. So it's tough. It's, if you're not there consistently, and it's tough to build those relationships. And because we have the daughter and doing the soccers and everything else in your life, you just can't make it every time, for sure.
right. And I'm a diehard soccer mom that does not drive a minivan. Just to put that out there.
Well, you've drove a lot of vehicles. I think I've counted. You've got like 5 vehicles to my one truck, and I've had that truck for like
That's
8
being
years.
generous.
Yeah, it's probably being
Right.
generous. All right. Do you have anything to add to this, Chris?
Well, no, I was going to ask, you have made a pretty big, I don't know what the term, sacrifice to be able to follow Corey and what he does and allow him to do what he does. And what does he do for you?
Oh shit! so
What
so
did he
you
do
woke you
for
woke up and
me?
chose argument, huh?
Yes, yes.
You chose violence.
So what has he done for you
No,
lately?
I think, racing is his identity. Soccer is my kid's identity. And that's what makes him happy. What makes me happy at the end of the day is seeing others happy. And then family. Family's first and foremost, number one to me.
She's a
So
giver. She's a giver.
That's what he does. I mean, seeing him happy in what he does, I mean, that makes me happy. And I think that's enough. I mean, I would rather have a spouse that is happy because they're doing things that they enjoy in life rather than if he's not drag racing, be miserable.
Yeah, for sure.
So his happiness brings me happiness.
And the thing is I would find something to fill the void. I mean, I'm just a guy that always is on the move. So if I'm not doing something, I actually have anxiety about it. So,
Right.
it's you got to, choose your poison, I suppose. But,
But at the same time, when you're spending hours in the garage, I can binge watch my TV shows.
you're
'cause
damn
Yeah.
straight.
Yeah.
You're damn straight.
What is she watching?
All right. Do you have anything to add to this? Do you have anything you want to say about it?
Um,
No, that's a no.
let's see.
All right. All right, Debbie, do you have any socials you want to push out there? Like TikTok or something like
Go to
that?
TikTok and check out how-to.mamabear,
There you
where
go.
we do stupid things when Corey's not home in his garage,
Yeah, she does do that.
including starting his race truck.
Yeah,
Brings
well,
as
that's
well.
that, and that, we just talked about it. We are winterizing these guys, so you can't even.
So that's not going to be an option.
You can't
But
even
that's
hit the
okay.
starter
There's plenty
button,
of
baby.
other fun things. Plenty of other fun things. So
All right, so check her out at How to Mama Bear on TikTok.
how-to.mamabear.
How to Mama Bear, and we'll put it on the screen so you
Yeah.
can find that. She's on TikTok, and she's a lot of fun to watch, especially her lives.
Yeah, you just been taking up welding here recently, haven't you?
Yeah, she has. She has
TikTok
done
certified.
she's done some things with a welder that I do not approve of. All right, well, thank you for talking with us, Deb, and I love you.
Yeah.
And
Love you too.
maybe we'll have
Love
you
you too,
on.
Chris.
Love you.
Maybe we'll have you on again if some viewer mail comes in and wants to ask Mama Bear about something.
Yeah, now back to house cleaning. It's
All right.
Sunday.
Okay, we'll see you, babe.
Bye.
All right, bye.
Oh, great.
So that was our guest. Just like you could be a guest if you wanted to be. You just got to let us know.
Yeah, it's good to be able to kind of dive into the other aspect of racing in general. Of, how does your family members handle it? Because it does take a lot of dedication and
Absolutely.
a lot of money to do it. We've talked about it in the past. Drag racing in particular, you have the least amount of time doing it and spending the most amount of money. So in a weekend, if you go, let's say you go down the strip, 6 times.
Yeah.
At 10 seconds, just being generous, 10 seconds each time. That's 60 seconds.
1 minute.
1 minute for thousands and thousands of dollars and time that you put in there.
And people ask me why I like long burnouts. I just want to be in the car longer.
So,
Yeah, for sure. It's a weird sport, man. It really is.
Yeah.
But like I've told most people, when you're winning at the track, when you're winning, you're probably only really winning at the track 5%.
Yeah.
The other 95% is done here at home or even in the pits.
Yes,
There's a lot of calculations. A lot of thought.
Definitely.
Cool. So I hope you enjoyed that little segment with my wife, and we're going to move on to this is viewer mail.
Yeah, we got some viewer mail actually for our third episode.
Yeah.
So the first one, and this is kind of a technical question, maybe a question about what you prefer, but Zachary wrote us and asked, what would you recommend, a 3-speed variant or a power glide?
Yeah, for what we do, indexing, even bracket racing, I would say Power Glide's king. The only time that I would ever run like a 3-speed is if I was trying to meet an index that I didn't have enough horsepower for, and you need that extra gear.
Yeah.
If you're real close, you could add some ET there
Yeah.
or take away, however you want to look at it. So that's about the only time I would ever run a 3-speed.
Those power glides they're used on all makes of engines.
Yeah.
So I mean, they have the adapters to put
For
those
everything.
on behind Fords,
But
Mopars.
let's be fair. I mean, the Turbo 400 you can convert to a 3-speed. They had the same type of bell housing system. You can change those to whatever. That's personally where I would be at is power glide all the way, and then you got to over horsepower to make what you're trying to do done. But that's probably your best bet just for consistency reasons. Every shift that happens, if you look at a race pack graph anyway, there's a little blip, and if you add that little blip to another little blip, that could change your ET by quite a bit. So that's why power glide's been king in most of our racing. Heads up racing, 3, 6-speed, whatever, that Linko, because then it's just about max performance, and you're getting there the fastest. You're not worried about meeting a number each time. So that's the reason the power glide it's one less thing of inconsistency.
Yeah.
Is that about what you feel about it, Tim?
Oh yeah. I mean, just having the 2 speeds, you don't have to worry about one shift point. And for us trying to get to our number every time, that seems to be the most consistent. Now, I mean, on mine, there's something effed up on my transmission, so it shifts whenever it wants to shift.
Whenever it feels like it.
I'll set it for 6,300, and it'll shift at 7,700, and then the next time it'll be 7,200 or 6,000. So that's one thing we got to do with the week.
Yeah, we got
to
address that. We got to pull the transmission, and get her sent out.
Yeah. So our next question is from Tim, and I'm assuming this is for us. How much horsepower are your vehicles, and what speeds and ETs are you running in the 1/8 and the 1/4 mile? I'll let you go ahead and start.
The truck is, on a good day, it's just right around maybe 1,000 horsepower. Now we can add a couple hundred with blower teeth, but to get to my 9.0 index, we were trying to get around 900 horsepower to make it consistent, and then shifting it really fast, so you don't have as much torque built up from the transmission to get to the 9.0. The speeds, I think I'm like 126 in the 1/8 at 572, 567, somewhere around there. In the 1/4, we're running 9.0 at 150 to 152. And then if we, add that extra horsepower and we actually get it off the line, which shouldn't be a bigger deal next year when I get bigger tires, we've been able to get it down to low 560s in the 1/8 and low 860s in the 1/4. The 1/4 was like 157, I think, and then 1/8 mile, I don't 100% remember, but it's closer to 130. So, that's kind of where I'm at. What about you, Chris?
Well, the first year we had a non-known motor. We were told it was a 408, and come to find out it was just a 350, maybe a 355.
Built for nitrous.
Built for nitrous, yes.
We bought it specifically because a motor built for nitrous would probably still do pretty well with the blower. So we were hoping to just put a blower on it.
So as we took that thing apart, we realized it wasn't what it was supposed to be. But when I first started racing it last year, I mean, we were running high 11s. One of the first things we did was you changed out the rear gear, went to a taller gear, which really was not for our benefit. And so I did get it down to 1132 was my best pass last year. And then this year we had the motor totally gone through by Performance Automotive and dynoed it, and dynoed at 690 with a 50-tooth blower pulley on the top.
Yeah.
And then we've kind of gone up on the blower pulley size to slow it down to bring less power into the motor to get it at our 10-second index. But the most I've run, or the best I've run on that, is a 980 at 137. So it's still pretty fast.
Yeah, I mean, it's very fast. What about the 1/8 mile? Do you remember your 1/8 mile?
My best 1/8 mile was a 622.
Yeah, that's about.
Because you were telling me about how in an 1/8 mile, or at least the track we were racing that's kind of on. That's faster than what
NHRA doesn't want you to go faster than I think it's 639 or something like that. Without a full cage, it could be 629, but I think it's 639. Yeah. It was weird because I was running 632 at my 10.0. And it was still faster than what they would let me run a quarter mile, and it didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
So I knew it was a little bit higher. I think it's 6:39.
Yeah. So the Nova only has a roll bar in it and not a roll cage, and it's not certified or anything like that. So we don't want to go any faster than 10 seconds on the quarter. NHRA won't let us. So,
NHRA is watching, Jesse.
Yeah, they won't let us. So that's kind of where we're stuck there. But good question, Tim. Thank you so much for that. We have another question here from Shelly.
Hey, Shelly.
She's like, and this kind of goes back to what we were just talking about. Are you required to have a license to drag race your cars?
I wonder if she means like a normal DMV license, or
That's a good question because there's two.
well, and that's a good question. Do you have to have one of those?
I don't. They've never asked us because we look like old folks. We like
Yeah, you definitely don't get carded.
Yeah.
Well, I assume in order to race a big car, you're probably going to have a driver's license if they check for it. But as far as on the strip, which I assume that this is what the question means, is in order to go faster than 10.0 in a door car, you got to have a competitions license, and that gets you down to 750 in the quarter before you have to get a modified license to go a little faster than that.
Yeah.
There's also some licensing differences between if you're going to run a dragster versus a altered or a normal door car. Longer wheelbases change your licensing. So I think there's like 6 different licenses you can get.
And getting a license is not just a matter of applying. You actually have to go out and prove that you can run these times.
Yeah. So you have to do 6 laps.
Yes.
Your first 4 are not full length passes, and then your last 2 are full passes, and they have to be indicative of the license you're running. So if you're trying to go to get your license for instance, my license, you have to run under 10.0 twice. Your final 2 passes in order to qualify. And then you have to get it signed off by other licensed drivers saying that they saw you do it. Mm-hmm. He did what he did.
Yeah.
And I did that last year.
Yeah. So you got your license all set up then?
Yep. I'm a fully competitive licensed holder.
All right, our last question real quick here. This is from Jackson, who is our NDRL champion for 2023 in the Pro Comp division. Yeah. He says, why do you guys lose so much?
That's a little hurtful, buddy. I don't know if you see it though. I don't always lose. What about you, Chris? I don't see nothing in front of you.
There's nothing in front of mine. So I don't even see like a little participation award or anything there.
Well, just a feel-good award. Yeah. Why do we lose so much? Is because you're always there, Jackson.
Yes,
that's why. Even though we're in different divisions, you still scare us out of winning.
You are
a
machine, man.
Yeah,
machine.
Amazing.
All right.
But to be quite honest with you, why don't anybody win so much? Because it's hard.
Yeah.
It's super
and
hard.
What's the saying? It's like 90% luck, and then
you got to have a little bit of luck on your side, but you got to have a lot of preparation to earn that luck. And on top of that, again, this is a one and done style racing, boys. I mean, you make one mistake, there's a million ways to lose and only one way to win.
Yeah, and you got less than, depending on the class, less than 10 seconds, you can make a mistake and you're done for the whole weekend.
Yep. Yeah. All right, well, thank you for that question. We want to make sure you guys remember to email us at linelockedpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Or find us and comment below and find us on Facebook and message us your address so we can send you our nice little,
Christmas ornament
or dash plaque. You can just put it somewhere.
Stick it on your fridge.
Giving them away for free. You just got to send us the link. We're not putting you on any mailing lists or nothing like that. We're just trying to give our viewers, the people that support us, a little something.
Yep.
So make sure you do that. Anything else we got, Chris?
Well, just remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button so you know every time a new episode comes out on Sundays at 8 p.m. And I think we're going to do it right this time.
Are we?
I'm Chris.
And I'm Corey. And we are Line Locked.
Woo! See you next time, guys.